U.S. realities.
At first glance, Delaware looks like just another small American state, one of the tiniest in size, often overlooked on the map of the United States. Yet behind this small territory lies one of the most powerful and controversial financial systems in the world. For decades, Delaware has earned a reputation as the corporate capital of America, and for some as one of the world's most effective tax havens. It's a place where billionaires, multinational corporations, and even criminals have discovered the perfect loophole, a state that offers secrecy, minimal regulation, and extraordinary tax benefits. So how did this small state become such a magnet for hidden wealth? The answer lies in its unique corporate laws, business-friendly courts, and the absence of transparency that most other states and countries demand. More than 1 million businesses are registered in Delaware, which is astounding considering its population is less than 1 million people. That means there are literally more companies than residents. Among these businesses are some of the largest global corporations, from tech giants to pharmaceutical firms, all attracted by Delaware's favorable conditions. One of the biggest reasons Delaware became a tax haven is its Court of Chancery, a special court that has existed since colonial times. Unlike other courts in the United States, this one doesn't use juries, and instead relies on judges who specialize in corporate law. This court has developed a reputation for making fast, business-friendly decisions that favor corporations over regulation. For billionaires and companies looking to avoid lawsuits or complicated legal battles, this was like striking gold. But that's only the beginning. Delaware allows businesses to incorporate with very little information required. You don't need to list who actually owns the company, just a name and an address, often provided by law firms that specialize in creating shell corporations. This means anyone, from a Wall Street billionaire to a foreign criminal, can set up a company in Delaware in less than an hour, often without revealing their real identity. For criminals looking to launder money, this is a dream scenario. And let's not forget the taxes, or rather, the lack of them. Delaware does not impose corporate income tax on companies that don't operate directly within the state. This means that if you register your business there but conduct your operations elsewhere, you can avoid paying state corporate tax. Additionally, Delaware has no sales tax, making it even more attractive to businesses looking to save millions, or billions, of dollars. When combined with minimal disclosure requirements, it becomes clear why Delaware is the perfect place to hide money. This strange financial ecosystem has turned Delaware into an invisible giant of the global economy. Walk through Wilmington, the state's largest city, and you'll find small, nondescript buildings that officially house hundreds of thousands of companies. These buildings are little more than mailboxes, yet legally they are the headquarters of corporations worth billions of dollars. One famous address, 1209 North Orange Street, is home to over 285,000 companies, including some of the biggest names in business. Of course, Delaware's rise as a tax haven has not been without controversy. Critics argue that it enables corruption, money laundering, and tax evasion on a massive scale. While ordinary citizens pay their fair share of taxes, billionaires and large corporations find ways to legally avoid them through Delaware. Even more concerning, the lack of transparency makes it possible for criminal organizations to funnel illicit money through U.S. companies without drawing attention. Yet, despite all these criticisms, Delaware's system continues to thrive, largely because it benefits both the state and powerful corporations. The registration fees and related business services bring in enormous revenue for Delaware's government, allowing the state to thrive without imposing high taxes on its residents. For politicians and lawmakers, there is little incentive to change a system that has worked so profitably for decades. But what does this mean for the average person? And why is the U.S. government willing to tolerate a system that so clearly favors the wealthy and powerful? To answer that, we need to look deeper into how Delaware became so influential, who benefits the most from its secrecy, and why reform has proven nearly impossible. To understand Delaware's unique role, we need to explore its historical roots. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, states began competing to attract corporations by offering favorable laws. Delaware, seeing an opportunity, crafted legislation that made it incredibly easy to incorporate a company there. Over time, these laws became more sophisticated, carefully designed to attract businesses by giving them flexibility and protection from legal challenges. By the mid-20th century, Delaware had established itself as the go-to place for American corporations, and that reputation only grew stronger with globalization. Today, more than two-thirds of Fortune 500 companies are incorporated in Delaware. This includes household names like Google, Amazon, and Coca-Cola. These companies don't necessarily operate out of Delaware, but they register there to take advantage of the state's lenient corporate governance and tax laws. For billionaires, this provides an easy way to reduce tax burdens and shield themselves from lawsuits. But it's not just billionaires and corporations that benefit. Delaware's lax rules have attracted attention from criminal networks, drug cartels, and corrupt politicians from around the world. The Panama Papers and other financial leaks have repeatedly shown how shell companies in Delaware were used to launder money, evade taxes, and hide assets. Unlike traditional tax havens, such as the Cayman Islands or Switzerland, Delaware has the advantage of being inside the United States, giving it a veneer of legitimacy and making it harder for regulators to crack down. One of the most shocking aspects of Delaware's system is how little information is required to set up a company. In some cases, it is easier to form a business in Delaware than it is to get a library card. You don't need to disclose the real owners, and the paperwork can be completed online in minutes. This anonymity is what makes Delaware so attractive to those who want to keep their financial activities hidden. Of course, Delaware officials defend the system by pointing to the revenue it generates for the state. Incorporation fees and annual franchise taxes bring in billions of dollars, making up a large portion of Delaware's budget. This allows the state to maintain relatively low taxes for its residents and fund public services. To many locals, the system feels like a win-win. But for the rest of the country and the world, the costs are enormous. Billions of dollars in tax revenue are lost every year, money that could otherwise fund schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. The U.S. government has made some attempts to increase transparency, but progress has been slow. Powerful corporate lobbyists fight hard to protect Delaware's status, arguing that it makes America more competitive globally. Efforts to require greater disclosure of company ownership often stall in Congress. Critics argue that this is because too many politicians and influential donors benefit from the system themselves. So, Delaware remains what some call the biggest little tax haven in the world. It is a paradox, a small state with enormous influence, enabling both billionaires and criminals to thrive in the shadows. And unless significant reforms are made, this system is unlikely to change anytime soon. For ordinary citizens, the story of Delaware is a reminder of the vast inequality in how the global financial system operates. While most people struggle to pay their bills and taxes, the wealthiest individuals and corporations can exploit loopholes that let them keep billions hidden away. It raises difficult questions about fairness, justice, and the future of economic regulation. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into hidden corners of the global economy, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Delaware's system should be reformed, or is it simply a smart way for America to compete in the global marketplace? Your opinion matters, and your voice could inspire meaningful discussion.